welcome to another episode. Today I'll go through a few things. Thanks for all the likes and the subscriptions, appreciate it. Makes everything worthwhile. I'll go through some of the products I'm using. I'm no expert, but I'll tell you what I'm using, and also how I'm going to get some weight out of the car. So I'll go for a few bits and pieces of that. Still got a lot to go. Today I just did a coat of primer after sanding and filling the roof. So I've just done another coat of primer on the roof, and yeah, it's coming up pretty good. I'll hit it again with the 180, make sure it's nice and flat, and then I'll give it another coat. Probably in a couple of days. Just let it dry nice and hard, because this weather's pretty cold at the moment. So I'll get on with that, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. So part of the theme of this car is going to be about weight saving, only because I don't know really why. Maybe because I used to ride motorbikes a lot, I don't know, but weight just seems really important. Everything else that works so much better, brakes, suspension, don't need as much power, the whole works. So what we got here, this is the original 351 that I ran in the car. It's still a good motor. It's stock bottom end, heads are ported, 2V heads. It's got a cam about 560 thou lift, I think, from memory. That'll probably go back in for when I eventually get it registered, just to ease that process through a bit. What I'd like to run is a Boss engine. So this is a mock-up of, it's a short deck Windsor 302. I've got, these are actually 4V heads, and I've managed to get hold of a Shelby, see that, Shelby inlet manifold with quad 48 IDA Webers on it. These are original Webers too, not the remakes, and they're pushing 50 years old, but they're in extremely good condition. So part of the plan with this car was always to run quad Webers. Now the weight savings, these blocks, the 302 Windsor blocks, are a hell of a lot lighter than the Clevelands, about 20 kilos I think. I plan to run alloy heads. There's another 20 kilos saved there. I won't run these 4Vs, I doubt it anyway. And the ultimate dream would be to get a Dart short deck Windsor with the 1.125 bore and run a stroker crank, and work out about 370 cubic inches. But the dream would be to run the Dart block, the aluminium Dart block, which is probably another 20 kilos saving again. But we'll just have to wait and see with costs and everything. They're about 10 grand landed in Australia with the Aussie peso, so wait and see. And if I'd got that, then I would go the Scott Cook alloy Cleveland heads on it and run that manifold. That's the dream. Whether I go that far, I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see. But definitely the Webers will be going on. Whether they're on an engine like this or the Cleveland, I don't know. Just have to wait and see. Obviously I have to change the manifold to a Cleveland manifold, but that manifold is quite rare and quite valuable, so and very sought after in America. So that's the dream. Now let's continue on. So More weight savings I've got is top loader gearbox. I've managed to get my hands on another top loader gearbox, alloy cased. It's also got a 31 spline outlet and the longer extension housing like the GTHOs and the big block Fords from States. Small input. Don't know if I'll change the input, not sure. Not 100% sure on the status of this gearbox. It's supposed to be brand new. I'm not sure where it's come from. America apparently, but I'm not 100% sure on the quality. It looks good, but I'll just have to send it and see. I've got this as a backup, the original one. Worst case is I swap the gears over and the internals over, not really sure. But between that one and the alloy one, the cast iron top loader and the alloy top loader, there's a 12 kilo weight saving, even with the bigger shaft and the longer extension. So it's 12 kilos there. Another weight saving is I'm replacing the cast iron 9-inch carrier with a strange aluminium carrier. That is almost 10 kilos saving just there. So there's 22 kilos just there I've saved. So all that starts to add up. Once you start going down this road, a bit here, a bit there, and before you know it, you're starting to save a fair bit of weight. Another weight saving I've managed to come up with is fiberglass bonnet. It's got the ribs on the inside. As you can see, it's a lot lighter, a hell of a lot lighter than the steel bonnet. I've also got fiberglass guards. With the guards and the bonnet, because I've weighed everything, 25 kilos I've saved on the front end there. Intention is to run fiberglass bonnets, fiberglass boot lid and fiberglass bumpers as well. So that'll probably be another 10-20 kilos, somewhere in that realm, maybe more, 30 kilos I saved there. So again, it's all starting to add up, and yeah. So yeah, that's the engine. Like I said, I'm not too sure what engine at this stage, what combination engine I'm going to be running. It will really depend on where I'm at with costs and what I want in terms of horsepower, but I'm thinking somewhere between 400 and 500. I don't want to go crazy. I'm after more of a package. I don't want to overpower the thing. I won't use the power, so there's little point. I just want something that's a total package, and that's with the weight saving as well. A lot about the weight saving is also moving the weight from the ends of the car into trying to centralize mass. This is a thing called polar moment that I've read about in a few books. Basically moving the weight, centralizing mass and moving the weight away from the ends of the car makes the car react quicker, handle better. It's like a pendulum effect. If you got a weight and you spin around and it's close to your body, it's easy to control. If you put the weight out at the end, it's a lot harder to control. So it's sort of that sort of thing. So look, it's not going to be a race car or anything, but this is just me and what I want. I don't know why, but I just want, this is how I want the car to be. Hard to understand, but you just do what you want to do, I suppose, and this is what I want to do. Yeah, and with the engine, a big inspiration for me was Alan Moffat's Boss 302 Mustang, one of the greatest racing cars in the world, in Australia, but if not the world. Had a huge record, and didn't have big power, just had really good handling and a great driver. And that little motor, the Boss 302, is I just think it's a really unique thing Ford did back then to get around the rules of Trans Am. So they combined two separate motors, you know, the Windsor block with the Cleveland heads, and then the quad Webbers on top of the engine just made it for me. So that's what I'd like to do. Boss 302 blocks are quite rare, but if I can use an aftermarket block and use Cleveland heads, but I'll definitely be running quad Webbers. That's always been a no-brainer for me ever since I was a kid. I just love the look, love the sound, very unique sound. Put out good horsepower, hard to tune, yeah, but yeah, that's one of the big must-haves for this car, and I've got them, so they'll be run. Yeah, and saving weight where I can. Every piece of this car I will be looking at, every piece that goes back onto this car I will be looking at, try and save weight. Obviously, as long as it doesn't affect safety, brakes, safety, that sort of thing, I won't be messing with that. But yeah, if I can save weight, I'll save weight, and I've got a few things coming up in the next few videos that might be a bit more interesting, using different materials. But yeah, the Driveline, like I said, save weight with the gearbox, 12 kilos with the alloy top loader, which does make a lot of difference when you lift the two of them. The cast iron top loader, I rebuilt that quite a few years ago, all new bearings and synchros and that. This new gearbox, the alloy gearbox, I'll strip that down and go over it, make sure it's all okay. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on the quality of it. Yeah, and connecting the gearbox with the rear end, probably save a bit more weight there. Going to get a custom made tail shaft because of the long extension housing on the top loader. Probably go aluminium, might go carbon fibre, just depends. I'll have to wait and see. But I'm playing around with the idea I might even move the engine back a little bit as well. So yeah, so it'll be custom tail shaft alloy, most definitely. Carbon fibre, I'll definitely look into. The rear axle with the diff carrier, like I said, almost 10 kilos there with the alloy carrier. It's got a Detroit locker already. It's 3/9 gears and 31 spline axles. So, and that's unsprung weight, which is even more important in a car's handling, is to lessen the unsprung weight. So yeah, I'll be going over every single piece that goes on this car and trying to trim weight one way or another, hoping to get down to under 1,300 kilos. The GT Falcons were just over 1,500 kilos, I think. The Superbirds, which were a low spec, they still run the 302 Cleveland though. They were around about the 1,300. So I think I can get under 1,300. 1,200 would be great, but I'm thinking somewhere in between 12 and 1,300 kilos. And like I said, don't have to spend money on brakes. The car's going to handle better. Don't have to have as much power. The whole thing just works better with less weight. And I just like the math and the numbers and doing all that. It just and the challenge of trying to get the weight out of the car. Anyway, enough rambling on. I'll take you through the products I'm using. Some of you guys might be interested. Like I said, it's not rocket science, but yeah, I'll run you through some of that. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm using is the, I've gone with 2-pack. I've converted from years ago using acrylic, 20, 30 years ago. If I'm honest, I was a little scared of this stuff. I was very scared of this stuff. But don't be. Really easy to use. Goes on so much better than acrylic. easier to sand, easier to work with all round, much better than acrylic. Doesn't smell as bad as you'd think. Obviously you got to wear a respirator. So I went with De Beers mainly because convenience. I can get it local. I would have gone with something better like PPG or whatever, but it was too far to travel, and with COVID and Sydney lockdown, it would have even made life difficult now. But this is sort of a mid-range quality. It'll do me. I found no problems with it. I mix it to the instructions. Really nice to use, easy to use. I went with the epoxy primer on the bare steel when I cover the bare metal. That seals that up. It's a little bit harder to sand, but yeah, it does a good job of covering the bare metal and sealing it up so it doesn't rust underneath. Then I went with a black surface primer. Again, easy to use. I went with the black because I just found it shows up the imperfections better. When you sand it, it goes from black to a grey, so you see all the irregularities and problem areas you need to deal with. But yeah, that's been really good. The next thing is the filler I'm using is this U-Pole Gold Lightweight. Again, don't go with the stuff you buy from the auto shops, super cheap, Autobarn, whatever. That stuff is rubbish compared to this stuff. Unbelievably much better to use all round. Easy to sand, easy to apply, mixing, all that, much better. Reason, again, I've heard the 3M stuff is really good, but that wasn't available local, so I went with that because the U-Pole I've used before with like the weld-on primer, and I found this stuff really good for when you're welding and you've got to seal in between overlapping surfaces. Yeah, so I was happy to use that. Gun I'm using is an Iwata, I think that's how you pronounce it. Made in Italy. It wasn't the most expensive, wasn't the cheapest. It was sort of mid-range. It was on special. I found it really good to use. Needs a bloody good clean, but yeah, really good. I've never used one of these things before, just started. Got it off eBay. Awesome. Love using it. Easy to use. Great for big flat areas, so you get it nice and straight. And yeah, that was good to buy. I showered myself some good paper. I was using cheap Bunnings shit paper to begin with, but I showered myself some 3M. It is expensive. Got it off eBay again. I think it's like, I don't know, $50 a roll or something. But so much better to use. Lasts a lot longer, doesn't clog, cuts through nicely. I've got 80, 120 and 180. So yeah, that was good stuff to use as well. Yeah, and obviously you need a respirator. You don't want to poison yourself. This stuff's not too bad. It does smell a bit, but the wife hasn't complained, neighbours haven't complained. When you're spraying, it's a bit of a smell. Well, you don't smell it with these filters. You don't smell it at all. There's nothing. The filters you can get on eBay. Change them every now and then. But yeah, you need a respirator with this stuff. It's bad if you're breathing it in while you're spraying. But yeah, the paint goes off pretty quick, and the smell goes within a couple of hours. So yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm no expert, no panel beater, but this stuff I found really easy to use. Works really well. Haven't had any issues whatsoever with it. So that's my opinion for what it's worth as a beginner. So I'm sure there's guys on there that'll say that everybody has their own brands and loyalties, but yeah, I'm happy with this stuff. So yeah, don't be scared like I was with 2-pack. It's a no-brainer. Okay guys, that's about it. This video has gotten way longer than I expected. Started off being a short one, but yeah, I waffled on a fair bit, but I hope you guys find it interesting. I've got sill repair photos coming up if you're interested. Otherwise you can turn off now, but yeah, if you're interested in how I went through the process of doing the sills, yeah, plenty of photos there. That'll probably take another 4 or 5 minutes, but yeah, okay, to the next one. See you later. Cheers. So here's some pics I've done of the sill repairs. I thought they were pretty good, my sills, until I started pulling them apart. I thought I could save them, but no, I was kidding myself. Braced it up. These corners were a little beat up as well. A lot of rust in there, previous repairs, you know, the whole thing. I thought I could make some patches, but no, I ended up taking them off. Never done these before, so I took them off in sections and slowly exposed it, what I need to do. Ended up getting new ones from Rare Spares, and they fit pretty good. The torque boxes, the outer plates were pretty rusty, which you can buy new. The torque boxes themselves, though, were pretty good. A little bit of minor pitting. I was really lucky with my torque boxes, but those outer plates, these things, you can buy them new. I didn't really know at the time, and I was going to strengthen that area anyway, so I built my own basically. But yeah, I painted the inside of the torque boxes, cleaned them all out, painted it. The inner sill, I had to do a little bit of plating there. Wasn't too bad. A couple of bits here and there. But yeah, it was a big job. I got it all lined up, put the door and the front guard on, make sure that they were in the right position. You don't want to do it without at least making sure the door fits. I put these notches in to help align the sill because I had it on and off so many times. So I notch on the inner sill and the outer sill so I could line it up easily each time I put it on. These are the bits I made up, that those torque box plates that replace those torque box plates. It actually didn't take me too long to make those, so by the time I would have done stuffing around, chasing them and getting them ordered and all that, I had these made up, and it's a lot stronger. So, and this is a key area of the car, so yeah, that was something I did. I also put these ribs in the sills after doing a lot of research on aircraft and boats and everything. I wanted to strengthen the sills, but I didn't want to put lots of weight in there, so I put these ribs in. They only weigh about a kilo each side of extra weight. Those brackets for the rear window winder mechanism, they got to be spot on. I had rust down in the lower quarter panel. I put a couple of extra little brackets there as well, just to strengthen the B-pillar. The ends were quite hard to make of the sill in the rear wheel well. There's a lot of work in those. Hopefully they'll start reproducing those soon. That's the sill all done, all painted, ready to weld on. Plug welded all on. You can see the bracing there that I put, just some basic bracing. And yeah, I was pretty happy with the way it came up. The right hand side, which you're seeing now, was pretty good actually, rust wise. But the left hand side, well, that was just a whole new ball game. There was a lot more rust. There was probably a couple of inches of dirt in there. How it gets in there, I don't know. But over the years, there was a lot of bog in that sill. That's the lower quarter there. Those plates were fully rusted away. The inner sill was rusted there. The corners were badly rusted. God, it was just,
it was a long process, but worth it in the end. And it took me a while because it was the first time I'd done it. So I took my time and just tried to, a lot of thinking in, that's what's left of the inner sill. But yeah, a lot of planning basically. I didn't rush it. There's a patch for the rear of the sill, the inner sill. But again, it came up really well. Those torque boxes were pretty good. Again, just minor pitting. I was really lucky because there was a couple of inches of dirt in there. So usually they're rusted out. So, but yeah, again, plenty of planning, plenty of fitting, trial fitting, over and over again. Repaired the lower quarters while I was there. But that's the end. Again, I had to make the end caps. That's them ready to go back together on the left-hand side. Corners redone. Fiddly area that is. And yeah, it came out pretty good in the end. I was pretty happy with it all, and a lot stronger. God, it's the major strength of the car that connects the front and the back, so you want to make sure it's good. Anyway, cheers guys, hope you enjoyed and hope you got something out of it. See you later.